I'm sorry, 1977. That was a misprint. Barry Lee's been on the radio in this area since 1977. He's worked with WINC FM 92.5 since the mid-1980s. He currently airs the TV3 Talk of the Town show, and previously did that on Channel 6 for a number of years. I've been on both sides of Barry Lee's interviews in the past. He proudly says that he has a wife who is also a professor here at Shenandoah University. He has 3 cats, 1 dog, 7 goldfish in the pond, and a mouse somewhere running around in the kitchen. So without any further ado, I give to you Barry Lee from WINC.
We're hoping 1 mouse, you know. We're hoping 1 mouse. I guess in educational terms, our 3 cats would be underachievers. Anyway, thank you so very much for allowing me to join in this celebration. Thank you to the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber. And our moms would be so proud of us, starting off the day with a great breakfast. So Exo, thank you. And Shenandoah University, thank you. You know, this is an incredible place to raise kids, and you, my friends, are a very, very important part of that equation. My first day of school got off to a real rough start. I grew up in Fairfax, and let me explain a little bit about what my life was like up until first grade. For 6 years, I didn't go to preschool or kindergarten. They hadn't been invented yet. And I was used to waking up, having breakfast with my family, going outside and playing, having a nice, leisurely, quiet lunch with my mother, taking a nap, getting up in the afternoon and playing again until dark. So when first grade came around, I was excited because I was a big boy now, but I just wanted to preface the fact that I had had a pretty leisurely 6 years. That first day at Oakton Elementary, I was really pumped up because I was a big guy now. And I remember at lunchtime, they walked us down the steps to a basement. It seemed like a basement. I don't remember there being any windows. I just remember that it was very, what I thought was dark and deafening. I mean, kids that had been going to school were used to all the jabber at lunch. You know, for me, it was just me and my mom, you know, but it was deafening. So, didn't eat a whole lot of lunch. We're coming back from lunch up the steps out of the cafeteria cave, and then at the landing, there were these big windows that looked outside, and I can remember, like it was yesterday, pausing at those windows and looking out, and then it hit me. This whole public school thing is cutting into my free time. This isn't going to work. And it was on that landing that the tears started to fall. Thank you. And they fell for a week. Maybe 2. Now, the first couple of days, my parents took me to the classroom. Then came the trauma of riding a bus for the first time. The bus stopped right up just a couple of houses from where we lived, and I can remember standing there with my satchel. They didn't have backpacks then. They had these like little briefcases for kids with a handle on it, little satchel. And everybody, all the kids are excited and, you know, goofing around and playing, and I'm thinking, how can they be so excited when they know the prison bus is going to be coming in? So I'm just pretending to go along with their enthusiasm, but the whole time my eyes are scanning the road for that bus, and then I heard it coming up Scott Drive there in Fairfax, that motor lumbering to get up that hill, and it was talking to me. Barry, coming to get ya. So as the bus pulls up to the stop, all the kids start to form a line, and I'm just sort of letting kids go ahead of me, prolonging the inevitable, and I work my way to the very back of the line. So I get to the step. I'm the last one there, and I get up on that first landing, and I pause. And I looked the driver, Mr. Driver. That was his real name, by the way. It really was. Mr. Driver. How coincidental was that? It was almost like he should have been on Sesame Street in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Hey, Mr. Driver, let's get on the bus. But I'll never forget those eyes, because he could see flight or fright in my eyes, and in his eyes, I could see, this bus ain't going without you. And there we stood. I was on that bottom landing, and I kid you not, our eyes were locked on each other. And it was almost like one of those westerns, you know, like, we're gazing each other down like it was a gunfight. And his hands resting gently on that handle that had I been another step up, he would have closed me. And my fingers are twitching on the handle of that satchel like a 6-gun, and we're just waiting it out. Who's going to make that first move? I made the first move. I slowly stepped back off the bus. He slowly got up out of his chair, and I ran. I ran like the wind. If it hadn't been for that dang satchel hitting my leg, I'm running all the way home, and I didn't dare look behind me. In my mind, he was breathing down my neck. But I'm running down the street to my house, and I'm thinking and hoping that my parents are watching the whole scenario out the window and that they're going to open the door at the last minute, sort of like on those westerns, you know, when the guy's trying to come to the fort, open the door, you know. And so I'm running, get up to the front steps, open the door, I'm safe. And that couldn't have been farther from the truth, because I got one of only 2 spankings I can ever remember from my dad. He was a traitor. He was on their side. He drove me right back to that school where they left me kicking and screaming. But, you know, I survived first grade. And I even got to like it. So much so that I got a teaching degree from Florida Atlantic University in secondary social studies. At that time, way back when, we were a dime a dozen, and it was tough getting jobs. So I went into social work, went into Christian education, then landed in radio. So that statistic that floats around now that says the average person's going to take up about 4 careers in their lifetime. So I'm thinking number 4, I might go full circle, that when I retire from radio and TV, that maybe I'll do some substitute teaching. So it'd be a nice way to come around. But what advice can a guy that never got to teach a professional day of school in his life can I leave with you? Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. You know, here at the John Kerr table, the first-year teachers, and they talked about how excited they were. Keep that passion, keep that enthusiasm. The one thing that I've learned is if you've got that enthusiasm, people will follow. I had a former boss in radio. He'd been an old Broadway and television star. And he used to gather us in a circle at those announcer meetings, and he'd say, enthusiasm is contagious. If you're having fun, your audience is going to have fun. Same thing in the classroom. Same thing in the classroom. He used to talk about some of the big stars that would come to Broadway, and it might be a rainy Tuesday matinee, not as many people in the audience, and maybe these people are sitting out there worrying about catching a cab home after the play, so maybe they don't laugh at the first couple of lines that are delivered by the big star. And he said, I saw it over and over. Some of those big stars, if they didn't get that laugh where the audience was supposed to laugh that first couple of times, he said, they sort of gave up on the audience. And he said they just, what they called marking time, marking their lines, just go through the motions. He said, I saw other performers that would work their butts off, and by the end of the show would have them in the palm of their hand. That enthusiasm is so contagious. So if you keep that good old enthusiasm, there's a quote from 2 people, John Maxwell and Theodore Roosevelt, have been quoted as saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I don't have to tell you that one of the top qualities of a teacher that affects achievement is enthusiasm. There's a Chinese proverb, I like to collect quotes. One of my favorites, very simple, says, wherever you go, take your own sunshine. And to quote a teacher, says, I have come to a frightening conclusion. I am the decisive element in the classroom. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. So take that sunshine each and every day. You may not feel like it all days, but take it with you, and take it easy on that kid that cries next week. Thank you for what you do.